All right, yo, hello and welcome, buddy. What is going on? I'm here joined today by Chris Pajak from the Redmen TV to discuss the upcoming Champions League game. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm all right, mate. I'm looking forward to this game of football. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Yeah, I feel like this is almost the big one. I've personally been following you lot for quite a while now, ever since Klopp took over. So I've always been following your progress. So I always wanted to play against you lot, but I feel like it's the worst season for us to play against you. So I'm also a little bit worried. But yeah, tell us how's Liverpool been doing this season? Because you seem to be taking the league by storm.
Yeah, that's it. I think we've changed our approach a lot this season. We've gone from this very much counter-pressing, counter-attacking side that very much like the Dortmund side that Klopp built a few years ago to rival using the Bundesliga into a more possession-based side. Now we're a lot more pragmatic. We're a lot harder to beat. We've only been beaten once in the league all season long, and we're starting to pick up points against the lesser lights of the league, and that is through a possession-based game. We moved Mo Salah into that number 9 position, whereas he played that on the right-hand side so often last season. But in the last game, we moved back to a 4-3-3, and we put the front three in the normal positions, like what we saw last year with Roberto Firmino up top and Salah on the right, Mane on the left, and we looked fire, to be honest with you. We played some incredible football. We scored 3 goals against Bournemouth, could have been 6 or 7, to be honest with you. And I think that part of the reason for that is the injuries that we've got at this time of the season, but also I think, with big games on the horizon, going into that 4-3-3, maybe looking to try and counter the likes of Bayern Munich. We've got Manchester United, we've got Bayern again. This formation might suit us in the next few games, and hopefully we'll be able to play as well as we did against Bournemouth against Hughes.
Okay, interesting. Defensively, I think this season you've done extremely well with obviously Van Dijk coming in as well. Will he be out for this game? Because
Yeah,
I
he's
believe
out.
you.
He
Yeah.
is. He's out. You're right. He's picked up too many yellow cards, and he's got a 1-game suspension. That's huge for us, mate. Absolutely huge. I'll be honest with you. He's the glue that holds it all together at the back, and unfortunately for us, our second choice, probably centre back, Joe Gomez, who would be starting, is out injured. He looks like he's going to be missing for another 6 weeks. We won't make both of these games. We got Joel Matip, who you'd probably say, I'd say he's our 4th choice centre half. He's been playing okay, but he's not been coming up against the likes of Lewandowski, you know what I mean, over the last few games, and a player of his talents. And then, to be honest, it's touch and go with Lovren whether he's going to be fit. So it's likely that it's going to be Joel Matip +1. We're not sure whether Lovren's going to be fit. And if it's not Lovren, it could be a centre midfielder in Fabinho playing at centre half, which
Okay.
scares the living daylights out of me, to be honest. And not because he can't do it, but because he's not been tested. He's played centre back a couple of times this season for us, but not been tested like the likes of Bayern Munich. And also, he's a big player for us in the middle of the park. He's a player that I want to see playing in the centre of the park, spraying balls around, winning the ball back, popping it off quickly. I think he's really come into his own this season. We signed him from Monaco in the summer, and he's been massively important over the last stretch of games with us attacking, never mind defending. So we could have some big issues. Hopefully, the Anfield crowd will help us get over those, though.
Okay. In terms of midfield, considering that maybe Fabinho will play in defence, what will your midfield look like? Because I believe early on in the season, Keita didn't play well for you lot, but now recently he's come into his own. Will he be starting in midfield?
I'd guess so, to be honest with you. I think, he probably, his form at the beginning of the season, had a great first game against West Ham. And we thought, yeah, there's a player there. We know we've been watching him play in the Bundesliga for Leipzig for a year because he was going to be ours. And then combination of injury and a change of formation meant that he couldn't really get into the side. So we moved to that 4-2-3-1, and Klopp seemed reluctant at first to play him in the middle of the park, getting a few minutes here and there on the left-hand side, spelling Sadio Mane. And we moved back to that 4-3-3. I wouldn't say he's had a stellar month, but his last game was his best game in a red shirt. He looked brilliant. He had a hand in a couple of the goals, winning the ball back for one, a great outside of the foot pass before the assist for Mo Salah's goal against Bournemouth. And we're starting to look at him through a different lens now. We're starting to say, yeah, this is the player that we bought. And if he can step into it, then he'll be massive for us. Other than that, if Fabinho steps back into the defence, then I think you're probably looking at the likes of Gini Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson. Maybe James Milner. He's started James Milner in a lot of the Champions League games, but that will depend on the fitness of Trent Alexander-Arnold. If Trent's playing right back, Milner might move into the midfield. If Trent's not available, he should be. then James Milner will play right back. But my guess is it would be a Henderson, Wijnaldum and Keita midfield against you guys. Henderson probably sitting in the 6, Wijnaldum a bit more box to box, and Keita doing his thing in the centre of the park.
Okay. How about attacking wise? Because the story this season has been that you lot are much better defensively, but attacking wise it hasn't really worked out. But every time I watch you lot, it seemed like you're scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, well, listen, I think the defence certainly got us to the top of the table, but the last couple of weeks, the strikers have had to start finding their feet as well. And Mane scored in his last 4 games now for us. Mo Salah obviously gets a goal at the weekend, but Roberto Firmino's the one for me. He's just key. I mean, if he plays well, Liverpool play well for me, and it's his movement off the ball, it's creating of space, it's dropping in between the lines. Most teams that play against us in the Premier League have like a defensive midfielder, maybe a 4-1-4-1 you'd come up against. And we've been struggling against that the last couple of weeks. We've had a bit of a blip and we've drawn 2 games, and which is great, to be honest, if that's our blip. But Bournemouth didn't play with that dedicated holding midfielder. And we had a field day. We were getting 2 players in between the lines, Roberto Firmino and one of Mane and Salah, and they were just popping balls off to each other, little 1-2s around the corners and stuff, and we were killing them. So if Bayern don't do that, I think Liverpool have got a really good opportunity there to try and get in behind and start playing our natural game. If they do that, we're going to have to start using the wings a bit and start relying on those fullbacks coming high and getting good balls into the box. But it'll be a very interesting game, this, and I'm really relishing coming up against Bayern Munich. I really am. I think, I've admired them from afar for so long now. They're always at the top of that league. They're always going deep into this competition. I can't wait to test our side against yours, if I'm honest.
Okay. In terms of Champions League itself, it seemed like while you're playing amazingly in the league itself, but in the Champions League it seemed like you're always struggling, or at least that's the narrative that I've seen, where one day you'll win, the next game you lose. Is that something that you might be worried about?
I don't think I'm worried. I think earlier on in the season, obviously, it was touch and go whether we'd make the last 16. We had a really poor performance over in Red Star Belgrade. I managed to get over for that game, and we were terrible. We were dog shit, to be honest with you, and we didn't deserve anything out of that game. Equally at Paris, Saint-Germain away, we were beaten easily, and Napoli away, but the home form did just about get us through there, and a big result in the last match day against Napoli that sees us through. At Anfield, we've been a different proposition in the Champions League. Away from home, though, we've been poor. And, last season's campaign was pretty much built on good away form. We went over to Porto in the last 16 and we beat them 5-0 away from home. And we thought it was just going to be like that. But then ultimately went through against Roma in the semi-finals. But we lost that game. We lost in Kiev in the final. We lost in Napoli. We lost in Paris Saint-Germain. And we lost in Red Star. So really, the last 5 away games, we've lost them.
Interesting. That may be something that Bayern will have to look at. Yeah, but in terms of the game itself, obviously you lot, as I said, you've been doing extremely well. Us, not so much. However, we are still scoring goals. Do you think your defence as a whole, with your goalkeeper as well, will be able to, I guess, contain our attack? Has your defence been good enough, or will it be good enough?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I think, I wouldn't say although we kept the clean sheet against Bournemouth, we didn't start the game very well. After the first 5 minutes, we didn't really get any opportunities. Leicester and West Ham, we obviously conceded goals. I think all season long, we've been defensively very resolute and very good. But with our injury to the right back, I think it tailed off a little bit. With the injuries to the centre half, it's tailed off a little bit. It'll be important for me that Liverpool get Dejan Lovren into this game. If Lovren and Matip play, they're not our best centre halves, but at least they're centre halves, and they'll give us a foundation to go and play our natural game. If we're dropping Fabinho in there, it does worry me. And listen, I know all about Lewandowski. I know Muller's not going to be available, is he? But he's another good player, and we've seen Bayern players in the past that produce special moments in this competition. So it will be difficult, but I think for us, we'll be relying on our attack probably a little bit more than our defence this time around.
They do say attack is the best form of defence.
That's true.
In terms of score prediction, what are you predicting for this game?
I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. And I don't know why. I probably think that Bayern will score, to be honest with you. I'm going to change it. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 to Liverpool. I think we need to win this game. I think we need to win the first game. You know, ideal scenario, you don't score. I think everybody knows that they're discussing that rule, aren't they, about whether to get rid of the away goals in the Champions League at the moment and stuff. It's obviously not going to come in. Well, definitely not this season. Probably not even going to come in next season if they decide it. But I think it's important that we don't concede an away goal. That being said, we can play counter-attacking football really well. If we get one goal up and you start to come out, that might suit us as well. A big fast start from Liverpool is what's needed, because that will then enforce you to do something that you probably didn't want to do, which is come out at us. Yeah,
I think that's definitely going to be the case. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts on Liverpool. Now, of course, you can follow him on the Redmen TV, Chris Pajak. Thank you very much for being here. I'll have the link of your channel in the description down below. Hopefully we'll have a great game. Hopefully it'll be an entertaining game. Hopefully it'll be a fun game. I think that's really what's important for this game. Anyway, thank you for being here. Do you have any closing remarks that you might want to give? Or
no, listen, mate. It's one of them, isn't it? I think we both want our team to win. We both want our team to progress. But it's been really enjoyable chatting to you, mate. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do it again before the second leg as well.
Sounds great. As someone who's been following your progress as a team since Klopp took over, I'm really looking forward to this one. I really want us to see how good we do against your attack. But yeah, I'll have the link of the Redmen TV's channel in the description down below for those guys who want to check out. I also gave my thoughts on Bayern at the channel. Thank you, Chris, for being here. I will see you all, ladies and gentlemen, next time. Until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day. Bye.